Joy Drive with Dean Warren's film, TV and theatre reviewer.
Suzy Wrong out of Sydney, welcome back to Joy Drive.
Hi there, can you hear me?
We can hear you, yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. Look, I made it through 8 episodes of Bridgerton and I'm still alive. Don't worry about me.
Tell us about Bridgerton. Why? We'll talk about why it has taken the world by storm, but tell us what your read on it is. Well, what's it about?
It is 1813 Regency London, and the flawless debutante Daphne Bridgerton can hardly wait to fall in love, get married and start a family of her own. As luck would have it, she meets the young and very dashing Duke of Hastings at a party, where they begin a torrid love affair that sees the couple go through endless ups and downs, providing fodder for the incessant gossip of high society and for our viewing pleasure. Bridgerton is mostly a light and frothy teenage romance, which is never my cup of tea, but it does turn slightly dark halfway through at episode 5, when I began to feel a little bit more engaged. The very vigorous sex scenes were certainly helpful.
Suzy, can I just say, the sex scenes, I watched a few episodes and I got to a point and I said to Dee asked me, how are you going watching Bridgerton? I said, yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it. It's light-hearted entertainment. And she said, where are you at? And I told her where I was at, and then she said, things are about to change. I tell you what, it was lucky it was just Fuzzy and I on the couch last night.
Poor Fuzzy. I like to call it Gossip Girl in hoop skirts, because it's basically the same story, isn't it?
I never saw Gossip Girl. It's just not my thing. No, it's just not my thing.
Gossip Girl
like young women who are a little bit confused and haven't got very serious things to worry about. They're just not my thing.
I think that the thing I loved about Bridgerton is that the issues that present themselves here are the issues that present themselves now, just in different outfits. It seemed to me, at the very least, Suzy Wrong, were you impressed by the colourblind casting of the show?
Yeah, I thought that kept my attention. That's how I got to the end, I think. But that's an interesting thing you brought up. I wouldn't call it colorblind, because I think that terminology implies a lack of intention. I feel like it's sort of like an anti-racist casting to take on this term that became very popular last year with Black Lives Matter. It was just sort of giving a lot of black people a lot of opportunities. In that way, I thought, visually it became more interesting, and I guess some of the black and brown actors brought different textures to these sort of very poncy English people.
I did some research today on Queen Charlotte back in 1813, and apparently she was a descendant of a black branch of the Portuguese royal house.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
I looked at her pictures online and she looked, very white.
Well, apparently she is a descendant, and Chris Van Dusen, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, wanted to explore what it might have been like in a sort of Regency era where biracial royalty was the norm, and we did have coloured people in the royal family.
Yeah, it did remind me more of what's happened in our time, with Obama. That idea when Obama became president that it was the end of racism, the absurd idea, and also now with Meghan Meghan, Mary, Harry, it does look a little bit like what's happening now, and it certainly brings up ideas about truth versus fiction.
I did, just harking back to the conversation we had a few weeks ago about The Crown and people getting all upset because they thought it was a docudrama and they're all, it's not quite factual. It did give me great joy that on Twitter this week people were like, Bridgerton, they've got the facts wrong, there's no way there would be a black person in the monarchy. And I thought, wow, people just have got to take a bit of a chill and realise that there is room for artistic interpretation in particularly right now.
It's a tricky one, because if you were to do a story like that and you have, and traditionally you just have no black and brown people on screen unless they're servants maybe, then that's certainly not going to fly these days. And how you do it, and I think the way they did it was pretty good. I mean, I question why this particular story in this particular time, but I guess with what they intended to do with that story, they did quite well with the casting.
How's the high society season, though, in London back in, the 1800s? I mean, these people going out and going to parties just so that they can all be matched.
It's midsummer. It's Mardi Gras.
It's Mardi Gras.
Season, yeah.
But the difference is, I was shocked at the amount, the lack of sex education. To the point where you see them having sex quite a lot, and obviously the withdrawal method is happening, and she's got no idea.
No.
Yeah, it still happens in certain places today, I hear about some places in Asia that people still get married off at a young age, and they don't know literally anything about sex. And I guess, it just took, we just think that sex education is so important, and people are still very scared of it. Even here, when we talk about abstinence and all those as sort of valid options still, which really blows my mind.
Did you find it sexy, Suzy Wrong?
I found it more intriguing than anything. I didn't find it sort of titillating because they didn't sort of do the sex for no reason. There was a big storyline behind the sex, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It was about the Duke not wanting to have babies, and then the poor little Daphne not having any idea about sex and not knowing that. That she's not going to have a child the way that they were going to have sex. So
yeah.
I felt that it was done really well. I was waiting for something a little bit more bold. I was waiting for bits to get on screen, but it didn't happen. But they made up for it with lots of jiggly bits.
You see lots of bum though.
Yeah, see bums, and then the ladies will have to show their boobs, and I guess it is what it is. I think also because it is for a young audience, even though it kind of looks slightly raunchy.
Dee and Suzy, what did you think of the costumes?
Love them. I can't fault. Apart from the only thing about this era of filmmaking that I do not love is that it is a complete whitewash. But the fact that this introduced more people of colour just made me feel more comfortable watching it, and it made it more interesting and gave it more depth. So I love the costumes, I love the dancing, I love the language.
I did think it was a bit gaudy for my taste, but it was fun, Like the Queen Charlotte had really outrageous hairdos, which were completely, so far away from reality, I guess. But they were really good to sort of see how they would interpret. Sometimes they were like dreadlocks and turned them into these big Marie Antoinette headpieces. Those were quite inventive, I thought. Generally, I feel like it does have a lot of beautiful things about it, a lot of interesting, thoughtful things about it. It's just the story and the characters that are a little bit old-fashioned for me.
Favourite character? Can you identify one?
I would say no. I actually don't like any of them. Sorry.
Hands down for me, Eloise Bridgerton.
Right.
Oh, yes.
The intelligent younger sister who will never wed. I thought she was marvellous, and basically me.
Mine is Lady Danbury.
Yeah. Well, I'm disappointed. I think that the Queen was a perfect opportunity to cast a trans actor. I thought that would have been an absolute... I mean, you could have put RuPaul there for easy.
Yeah, I mean...
or Suzy Wrong, sorry.
But worth going...
It is Shondaland.
Just for a look at the Duke of Hastings, as far as I'm concerned.
He's incredibly beautiful.
Oh,
all the boys
stunning,
are.
Stunning.
I found all the men incredibly beautiful in this. I think it's it's beautiful
when
to look at.
When the Duke of Hastings appeared, I felt like I was breathless. But then he started acting.
No, forget about that.
And do you know what? I've never seen a period piece done from this era with accurate dentistry depicted. Like, they've all got perfect teeth, and we know that was absolutely not the case. Suzy Wrong, we've got to leave it there. Thank you so much.
Before we go, Dee, I just want to mention something. We have got this new thing called Wrong Anxiety.
Yes.
Suzy, where we're starting to build up all these series that we're meant to be watching, and we're not finishing them, and now we feel like we've got to make time to catch up on them. So it's a new phenomenon.
Yeah. Warren gets very stressed midweek. He's like,
got to finish them all.
Bridgerton. I said, you don't have to. You have to have an appreciation of what's happening. But he's very worried that you're going to...
Are you a little bit OCD, Warren?
No, I just
100%.
like to finish things. Hey, next week, Suzy, what is it? RuPaul?
I think that's your request. I'm scared to bring up RuPaul again because Dee's not really into it.
Nah.
But yeah, I think we'll do it for our listeners. I think it's a very popular title.
Absolutely. So it's Drag Race UK next week, and then the following week we're going to do Your Name Engraved Herein on Netflix, which I'm looking forward to.
You've got them racked up now. You've got Wrong Anxiety all the way. Suzy Wrong, thanks so much for joining us. We'll have a chat next week about RuPaul UK. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.